Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to round 7 of the ARC Championship Series. We are here live from Monza, and I'm here joined in the commentary booth by...
My Savaloy, how you doing, Lateral?
I'm doing pretty good myself. We should be in for some very exciting racing here at Monza. It was a very good race here last year, and I'm hoping we're going to see a repeat here today. Let's go to our track map here. Here again at Monza, we have the long front straightaway, which leads into the tight first chicane, Variante del Rettifilo. Excuse my pronunciation, I am not Italian. Which leads into the very iconic Curva Grande, which leads into the second chicane, Rogia. And then we have Lesmo 1, Lesmo 2, the long straightaway, which has a slight kink known as Seraglio. And then we have Ascari, and then the last corner, Curva Parabolica. Again, 11 turns, 25 laps here today. ARC record set last season by ARC Lemmy, who is looking very strong here today. Let's have a look at the drivers competing here today. We have Defiant 195 and ARC Lemmy. Defiant not be able to join us today. A lot of drivers not joining us today, and they're in the Lexus RCF. We have Matt Wing and Kev Meister in the Toyota Supra. Dance 303 and Chilled Nom Nom in the Aston Martin V12 Vantage. Thomas Mr. TT and Alex Rogers Thomas not able to join us today as well in the Porsche 911 GT3. Defcon AC and Kobu GT in the BMW M6, but again, Defcon not able to join us here today. We have CRubennnn and PG Vapro in the Volkswagen Beetle GT3, but PG, again, not able to join us today. And Dark Reef, who also is not with us today, and PKMZ30 in the Mercedes AMG. Now, the interesting thing we want to point out is the point scoring right now. Based on the current points total, all Lemon Pen has to do is finish within the top 8, which would be very easy considering we only have 9 drivers here today, to clinch the championship. He would have to finish 9th or worse, or not finish at all, for the championship to even be in contention today. So it's pretty much going to be wrapped up here today, and from this point on, it's going to be a battle for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. But looking over at the constructors, it's still kind of close. The Lexus Pegasus Racing team is still leading out far out front, but close behind is actually Alito Racing. So it's actually, again, the first teams and first driver kind of breaking away from the rest of the pack. But for that 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, it's really close. So here we are. We just have qualifying just starting now. The drivers are on the back straightaway as they head towards Curva Parabolica to start their first qualifying lap. On board with Dan 303. He is my pick here to win today. Who is your pick to win today, Save Boy?
Well, that's, Dan's is obviously a fair win for a good show, considering how good that Aston is on the straightaways. I could expect to see Nom Nom maybe getting his first career podium. Expect the Toyotas to be up there, Kev Meister and Matt Wing, they look pretty good in practice. But, yeah, I don't think you can go wrong with either like Lemmy or Dan's. I would say one of them two could potentially win this race. The two that you're looking at on your screens to now. But if I'd have to go for one of them, I would say Lemmy would be up for this. If he wants to win the championship, he wants to win it in style here, and he'll try his best to win this race.
And we just see Dan's 303 going by ARC Lemmy there, the championship leader, last season's champion versus could easily be this season's champion here today. As they're, again, starting their flying lap there. However, that pass will cost them a bit of time. And maybe going for that pass now might not have been the best idea. Now, Lemmy will have his draft all throughout this lap. Looking farther back in the field, we have, Kevin Meister's teammate Matt Wing ahead of Alex Rogers here as they do their out laps. So Alex getting the tow from Matt Wing all around this track here. The tow going to be very important here. A lot of long straightaways, a lot of heavy braking zones. So it should definitely be interesting when we're going to see some of these qualifying times, as Alex knows he has to get that Porsche in the tow if he really wants to increase that top speed. As we've mentioned plenty of times before, that Porsche not the strongest on the straights, but he's going to work plenty of times there, using the tow of Matt Wing out of Scar to try to get a good flying lap here. So this should be a pretty good time for him. Looking farther back, we see Matt Wing's teammate just ahead of PKMZ here. let's see, go back and see Ruben on his own around the rest of the track, which is interesting. And Kobu GT looks to have just left of the track and started his flying lap. So a few drivers on their own as they crossing the line with a 148.1 for the first time. They go provisional pole. The other drivers there, we go KMZ with a 147.4, so that's a very quick lap from him. So he's currently provisional pole. We have Lemmy in second, Alex Rogers in third, Kevin Meister in fourth, and Dan's Gr3 in fifth.
I was looking at Dan's just then when you were looking at Matt Wing and Alex Batlin. Dan's went completely wide off Ascari, and that's why he's down in fifth and lost a lot of time that lap before. So, you know, Dan's a little mistake. Hopefully he'll get that sorted throughout qualifying. There is still another like 50 or so minutes to go.
Now.
So far so good then for Dan's.
He is purple in the first sector. Let's see if he can hold that Aston Martin throughout the rest of the lap. Monza is a very fast track, and some might call it easy, but it can be very tricky to get the little nuances right. Knowing how much curve to take before you get a penalty, or when you unsettle the car, knowing exactly when to brake, when to get back on the throttle. It's very simple in its layout, but the nuances are what make it tricky, and it comes down to a lot of drivers to figure out those nuances and really get the most out of the car. Dan's still purple by just a 10, and he's going to be catching, I believe, right up to the back of Lemmy. I don't know if he's currently within that 0.8 of a gap you normally get, where you get the slipstream from the car in front here, but it should be a good lap from him. Let's watch as he heads towards Curva Parabolica.
No sign of his teammate, Chilled Nom Nom, too.
So I guess yet to enter the track. See what he gets as he crosses the line. Should be a good lap from Dan.
Lemmy goes faster.
Oh,
and Dan's beats it.
Dan's will still take it with 147.2. I believe has that already beaten the track record?
I think that's a new qualifying lap record to me.
That is a new overall ARC track record. Very quick lap from Dan's Gr3, but I know a lot of the drivers have a bit more in the tank. Again, but speaking of tanks, they're still a full fuel load. They have a lot of fuel to burn off, which can make them even faster. We could see some 46s here today.
Yeah, probably late 46s. Probably be. If I'd be a guessing boy, I would probably say maybe a 146.8, possibly. But you know, we'll find out. It's still early in qualifying though.
Definitely is, but I think what's interesting is I think Dan's Gr3 knows that he has to really qualify in front of Lemmy if he really wants to be able to hold that lead. I know that Aston is very strong in the straight line, and the RCF is good everywhere. It's a very balanced car. But with PKMZ in third place and a very long run to that first corner, I believe those two cars of PKMZ and Dan's Gr3 have to qualify as high as they can if they don't have to worry about Lemmy maybe dive bombing them into that first corner.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much Lemmy's to lose the championship. He just needs to be smart. Just keep a cool head. Just check everyone around on him. I'm hoping that that other drivers are not going to try and force a mistake for Lemmy to go off of that, just to keep the championship close to that. But yeah, it's just Lemmy's to lose, really.
As we were talking, PKMZ was purple in the second sector. Let's see if he's still purple as he heads through Curva Parabolica towards the start-finish line. Again, the start-finish line very close to the exit of that corner. It's not halfway down the straightaway.
It's a tight line there.
Very tight line going inside the yellow, and he goes.
I'm waiting 46s.
Yeah, there you go, the 46.9. So PKMZ on pole. Lemmy in second after that slight mistake to the first corner there, so that lap's going to be a bit of a throwaway for him. Dan's Gr3 still hard charging here, but I expect a pit stop for tires from him. But PKMZ, with the starts that AMG has, if he's currently on pole, I expect him to pull away for a good bit. He's not easy to pass, and we've seen it happen in the past where a lot of drivers get frustrated behind him, like we saw with Alex Rogers at Suzuka. It was several laps, he just got stuck behind PKMZ and couldn't bye-bye, and he's still purple. He's still going faster, PKMZ.
Look at the tyres as well. It's not a lot of wear on those tyres, so has PK learned something about saving the tyres?
He might have figured something out. Maybe he's using a wheel this time around. I do know he has one. I just don't know if he usually uses it. He's been using a controller for most of the season. So definitely interested. He could be the brake bias. He's trying something new on that car. but definitely better than what we've normally seen. This is his 5th lap, and those tires are barely touched.
Yeah, this could be an even faster lap. Oh no, he's lost some
It's
time.
only a 10th, so there still is time to gain, especially through a Scary here and the last corner. But PKMZ kind of bringing it today. It's a farther back in the field as again Lemmy's still second, Dan Swift in third, and Alex Rogers in 4th. Those 4 drivers cover your top 4 in the championship points. I believe, unless it is I'm mistaken and Ruben is in that. No, Ruben is 5th in the championship points. So I was not wrong, as he's currently 5th on his outlap right now after a new set of tires. PKMZ pitting for another set of tires, as you can see there. Kev Meister back in 6th. He's been, I want to say it's not as strong as a season here for Kev Meister as it was in the first season. But do you think that's maybe down to him as a driver, the car he's driving, or is it just really the competition has stepped up for the second season?
I think it's a bit of both, really. I think the competition has really stepped up, but also you could say the car as well. You see them do very well at Sacqua, and then he was battling up at the front before he made that mistake. But yeah, I think Kev Meister's been quite frustrated in that Toyota. Like it doesn't, his driving style probably doesn't suit the Toyota. But it's just down to how the competition is done. I mean, look at that. I mean, we're talking about in Monza, they did the 1:47.3 was the fast time qualifying. They've beaten it by 4 tenths of a second. And I don't think Kev can compete with stuff like that as well. I mean, he's 1.5 seconds off the ball. So, I mean, it just could be down to how the competition has stepped up a year and that Kev's car's just not being that competitive at all.
Well, as you say that, he was purpled by 2 tenths in that first sector. However, that is to be a bit expected. That first sector is a very long corner with a very flat, so cars that have a higher top speed are definitely favored there. It comes to the second sector here where they usually fall back a bit with the multiple corners like Lesmo. But no, he's still green, so he will improve his time as he's currently last on the grid. But
what's more worse is, what I was just going to say, and what was more worse is
his
Matt
teammate. Yes.
I was just spectating on him. He just lost it in Ascari. I was just about to say to you, though, his Matt Wing is 4th quickest, and he's like 7 tenths quicker than his own teammate.
Kev definitely struggling here. However, this should be a good lap for him to improve. But Ruben back down to 8th. However, Ruben, usually a late bloomer in qualifying, doesn't usually take pole or higher up in the grid in his first lap. Kobuchi, again, the lone BMW driver on the grid for today, back in 7th. Very strong result from him. Last race at Autopolis, finishing 2nd in qualifying 2nd place. So
Kev goes 4th.
There you go. Kev Meister finally improving here, getting a lap picked up at 147.6, going straight through the chicane though. So it's looking far up in the field. We have PKMZ who just crossed the line to start another flying lap with a new set of tires and a lighter tank. Looking at his optimal time right now, his optimal is only a 10th faster than what he's actually been able to set. So there's not much time on the board for him to take here, but the car will get faster as qualifying goes on. Like that, up by 2 tenths. All the drivers seem to be purple in that first sector, but not too many of them have been able to hook it up through the rest of the track.
Did you see him sliding through that chicane? He is pushing that car to the limit.
Definitely pushing that car here, trying to use all the tire that he just put on that car. So here as he heads now back to Seraglio. On a slightly curved straight under the bridge, what was the old circuit here many years ago, as he heads now into Ascari.
Yeah, he lost 3 tenths there. So, I don't know, I think it must be through the Lesbos that he's losing some time.
Lesmos are very tricky cars. It's a heavy braking zone into a tight, fast, winding corner, so the cars have a bit more grip. Are usually faster through there.
You don't want to run right there too. Sorry, you don't want to run right there too, because you've got AstroTurf and it will spin the car around like we saw at Fuji. So you don't want to be going a bit wide in the middle of the Lesbo 1 and Lesbo 2.
For sure, across the line with 47.1. So even though he lost time, he managed to get some of it back. Lemmy's still in 2nd place though. Dan's in 3rd. Kev Meister in 4th place, getting a new set of shoes on that car. And his teammate Matwing up into 5th. So Super's looking pretty strong here today. Another driver we haven't seen too much of is Chill Nom. He's currently back in 8th, but he is seemingly on a personal best lap here as he heads towards Curva Parabolica. Ruben looking very lonely in last place. We saw him win here last season.
Again, that's just probably down to the fact that the competition has stepped up this season.
Again, last season, the reason Ruben won that race was his one-stop strategy.
Nom Nom goes 4th.
Well, there you go. Nom Nom finally proving that the Astons are looking very strong here at Monza, like we saw at St. Croix earlier on in the season. But back to Ruben. He won that race last year because of the one-stop strategy. He's having trouble this year because a lot of the cars are also using that one-stop strategy now. So his advantage has disappeared in that Beetle. And now he's here by himself. He has no drafting partner to help him on his lap. He's usually been able to get by through a lot of the races without that being too much of an issue, but here at Monza, he's definitely struggling.
I think the most important thing about this track is you want the slipstream. If you can get a slipstream of a car in front of you, you could be on course. Lemmy goes fastest, 146.6. Sorry, I just interrupted myself there, but yeah, slipstream is everything around this racetrack. If you can get in the slipstream of a car like in front of you, you could gain like half a second on your fastest time.
As you mentioned, Lemmy with a 146.6, absolutely smashing the previous ARC track record around Monza. You could say the cars, not just the drivers, but the cars have also gotten faster. He's still in that second place, but he also improves with the 146.8. But because we can see in the bottom right of that screen, we can see his best sectors times and his optimal. There is still a lot of time in that optimal section that he could gain. He could still take pole if he gets that lap hooked up.
Just looking at Nom Nom there, he's got a 3.7 second penalty. So he's not going to improve on his time, as we've nearly got 5 minutes to go until the end of qualifying.
Back with Gr3, who again was purple in the first sector, seems to be a constant thing with all the cars that have better in a straight line, like we see from PKMZ, Gr3, and Kevmeister. Through Lesmos is usually where they lose a bit of time, so we'll see here as he heads onto the second straightaway here. Goes under the previous bridge from the old track. He's green, not quite purple. He will improve though. He shouldn't take pole, but he might actually bop PKMZ for second place. And Gr3 definitely bringing it today. Looking farther back in the field, we have Alex Rogers. We haven't seen too much of this qualifying session. A lone 8th place.
Yeah, I think he's going to be struggling around here, to be honest with you. If you go back to season 1, I struggled the Porsche around here, and I think Obama did as well. So, you know, this is going to be a long day for Alex if he wants to, you know, improve his championship. Dan does improve, but he stays 3rd. He's now just over a 10th slower than PK. He did go a quarter of a second faster than his previous lap. But he's also in the 46s too, so Dan's on the charge.
Top 3 drivers on the grid right now. Normally the top 3 we've seen in a lot of the past races. It's usually Lemmy, PKMZ, and Alex Rogers up at the front, but the past latter half of the season we've seen Gr3 move up in that qualifying session.
Oh! Kevmeister's gone 4th. He splits the Astons on the second row. 147.086.
A lot of the drivers finding some pace here in this qualifying session. These mid 46s are what a lot of the drivers are going to be aiming for. We have just under, I believe, I want to say around 3 minutes left in qualifying. Is that correct?
Yeah, about 3 minutes to go, yeah.
Okay,
Again, Nom Nom having another penalty. I think he's making mistakes on Escari, is Nom Nom. That's 2 times he's had penalties.
This track, Monza, it's very easy to get penalties for taking too much curb on the inside. It's very tempting for all the drivers to just cut a lot of the corner because these curbs are very flat. They don't have a lot of high curb sausages, which unsettle the car. So it's very easy just to cut across them, but it's also, therefore, very easy to pick up a time penalty, as you just mentioned. Currently looking at your top 5 as qualifying is slowly rounding down with Lemmy on pole with a 146.6, PKMZ in second with a 146.8, Dan's 303 in third with a 146.9, Kevmeister in 4th with a 147 flat, and Chilled Nom Nom in 5th with a 147.6.
Kobu GT's picked up a penalty after going to the Retafilio, the first chicane.
Again, but the interesting thing here is look farther back in the field. We have Ruben, Alex Rogers, and Kobu GT in 9th, 8th, and 7th respectively. All of those cars are not known to be very strong cars in a straight line, and they're definitely struggling here.
Just about saying that Alex has just gone 5th, 147.5, so puts Nom Nom down to the outside of the 3rd row.
Alex, this is going to hurt his... We mentioned earlier in the broadcast, the points was very close for that 2nd place in the championship. And Alex Rogers, as you mentioned, was 2nd place in the championship. If he has a bad result here today, it's going to be very hard for him in the next race to hold on to that 2nd place. Even though it's not a championship win, it's very important for a lot of the drivers to maintain in that top 3 of the championship, because that guarantees that they're going to make it into Tier A for next season. They don't have to do the time qualifying session to make it into Tier A.
Of course, I completely forgot about that. And also what I was going to say as well was Alex is going to be missing that last race at Interlagos. So this is a big race for Alex if he wants to. He needs to finish, like, at least win this race or finish 2nd, just to have any hopes to finish inside the top 3. Otherwise, he'll have to qualify if he wants to race in Tier A for Season 3.
Very true. Though it is Alex Rogers and he's very fast on his own, I believe when he had to qualify for this season, he was the 2nd fastest driver, with Mark Lemmy being the fastest driver at the time. So I don't believe that would be too much of an issue for him. But it's still a bit of an extra step that could see him maybe fall down a few pegs. So again, his qualifying is coming to a close. Mark Lemmy is your pole setter, PKMZ 2nd, Dance 303 in 3rd. Throughout the rest of the field, look, Ruben still alone.
Lemmy's just gone faster, only by 7 thousandths of a second. It's a 1:46.644. So he's still fighting that little bit so fast.
Looking farther back in the field, we have CRubennnn with his fastest lap of 1:48.2. He has no drafting partner, trying to eke the most that he can out of that beetle. As we're getting now the notification for qualifying being finished. So Ruben will finish his lap here. The last driver to be on the lead lap, let's see if I can find him, will be Kevmeister.
So Rubens has finished his lap.
Yep, Rubens has
so
finished.
That's his qualifying is finished.
So last driver again will be Kevmeister. Let's see if anyone else can improve throughout the lap. Here we have Lemmy. Let's see as he goes on the bridge here, will he be a bit faster? No, he will not. Dance 303 be faster? He is. That would be enough to put him 2nd. We'll see if he can take that 2nd place from PKMZ, if not gain any more time in that last sector.
Actually pretty close there by looks of it too. Only 32 thousandths off PK's time. There he goes. Let's see if he comes round the Parabolica for the final time. Let's see if he improves and puts his Aston on the front row.
Wide line out of the exit of the Parabolica, trying to carry as much speed. Will cut in as much as he can, as close to the pit wall as he can. Will he take it?
No, he doesn't. Kobu goes 5th though.
Kobu does go 5th.
Kobu went 5th.
Kevmeister pulls him
again,
but he will again go 4th.
Yeah, he will be 4th though. But that's again what Kobu did late in the qualifying in the last race. He was nowhere in qualifying. And then I think it was about with 2 laps to go, he dumps the BMW and put it on the front row, and he's done it here again today.
That he has. So again, Matt Wing, let's see his teammate. Will he improve here as he heads towards the line? Doesn't look like he will. No, he will not. Again, Ruben.
No.
The last driver to cross the line. Knows the line here over.
And who's that last across the line? Is that Alex across the line?
Should be, yep.
And he's
drivers have aborted their qualifying laps here. So as we get the grid sorted out, I don't believe there's too many penalties to be sorted for the grid start.
Well, you did mention in last week there that Lemmy, Dans and Kobu should get a grid penalty for not having an interview. So I think that should be an team to account. Well,
let's cut back to this screen here. I Again, our top three, Lemmy, PKMZ, and Dan's. A very consistent top three that we've seen throughout a lot of the season. PKMZ is going to get the launch we always know he gets. Dan's 303 is going to get a pretty good launch, but not as good as PK, and Lemmy's going to get the average launch. Who do you think is going to lead into turn one?
I would say... Oh, I don't know. I was going to say Dan's as a certainty, but PK's on the front row as well. I don't know. I would say PK just because the fact that he gets that Mercedes off the launch so fast.
I think turn one's going to be definitely important here throughout the rest of the race. Kobu, GT, and Alex Rogers, they're fourth and fifth place, or fifth and sixth place respectively, as I do believe it was Kev in fourth. However, Kev also in that Supra gets a bad start. So I definitely believe the front three are going to break away. We're going to see some of the backfield move around that middle of the field. But going into turn one, I'm going to say PKMZ is going to lead into turn one, but I expect Dan's to maybe take the lead, possibly within that first lap. Again, that Aston very strong in a straight line, and the draft from PKMZ will help him get by. I think it's what the race is going to come down to is how fast Lemmy can get by PKMZ. If he has to wait a few laps while Dan's 303 pulls away, it's going to be Dan's 303's win unless he throws it away in a pit stop. But if Lemmy can get by PKMZ within the first lap or so, or go by with Dan's, I think it's going to be a close race for the win.
A bit disappointed to see Chilled Nom Nom qualifying in 7th. I thought I'd expected a bit higher up from Nom Nom, but there you go. Well, to be fair though, he's just over a second off pole position, which is not too bad, really.
Nom Nom's been actually very strong throughout a lot of the season. He's had a bit of mistakes, which we've seen in the first few races, like we mentioned at Fuji, and I believe also at the start of Suzuka. Yeah. But throughout the latter half of the race, he's come into his own. We saw at St. Croix, he was very strong, beating Ruben to the line after he ran out of fuel. It was a very eventful finish to that race. Here at Monza, I expect another good finish here if he can get that start, which the Aston likes.
And at Bathurst, the fourth round, he finished a credible 6th place finish. Of course, he didn't race last week because he was on holiday, but maybe a bit race rusty is Nom Nom, but hopefully we'll see him up there. I did predict him to be on a podium at least, so I was expecting the Astons to have a good points all over Lexus, since there's only going to be one Lexus in the year, the points. Also critical for that Constructors' Championship too.
Very, very true. However, the last round of this season, Interlagos. A track which I know both Dan's 303 and Chill Nom Nom are looking forward to. It's apparently a track that the Aston is very good at. It's not an easy track, it's a very short track, but it's very difficult. So I believe in that situation, it won't be the cars we see come out top. It's going to be the driver, which one could say is the best way to end a championship series. However, the championship, again, might end here today with the amount of points that Lemmy has.
Just looking at my stats here, that is Lemmy's third pole position of the season, and in his career, that will be his fourth. Yes.
Is that a tie for the record of pole positions in a season?
Well, Alex has got 3 already. But Alex has got the most poles so far, so I believe Lemmy is second in most pole positions though. Because that's his 4th pole of his career, and Alex has got 6 already, so he's got a bit behind to go to catch up to Alex. Although you could say next round at Interlagos, he might easily get it, and we have a 5th pole.
Very
and
true.
The 4th of this season too.
Very, very true. Lemmy's been, I'd have to say, very dominant this season, but also very surprising. His first season, he was super inconsistent. We saw a very dominant win at Bathurst, but at tracks like here at Monza, we saw issues that plagued him. Especially here at Monza, where he went airborne, which was eventful. But he was very inconsistent. And he mentioned many times to me, as we like to play other games like Rocket League or whatever together, that he's really his first time back using a wheel, racing again. He used to race a long time ago in simulators. And a game, I forget the name of the game that he used to play, but he was...
Yeah, he told me it as well, but I forget it too.
But he was very good in that game. He was very dominant in that. And then he took a bit of a break when it closed down. And then he started playing Gran Turismo Sport because he saw it was, sponsored by the FIA. And then he came back into it. He met CRubennnn, and here he is. And that first season, it was him getting back to that level. And then here we start to see him close to that level. He even admits himself that he's not quite at his max yet. So there's definitely apparently more in the tank from Lemmy, but he's been so dominant this season. A lot of the other drivers are struggling to keep up.
Lemmy's the only guy so far with 100% ratio of finishing on the podium. I mean, last week was his worst finish of a third. But other than that, he's had 2 seconds and three wins of the season. So if he's not at his optimum best, I'm scared to think what he will be like, because then he would win every race, wouldn't he?
That is very true. However, he is not the fastest man in all of ARC. There are faster in our ranks, but they are not here in Tier A or opt not to race. But looking farther back in the field, the previous champion, Gr3, had a slow start to the season. He had a, I believe, mid-pack finish. I believe it was around a 5th place. We saw at Dragon Trail. And at Fuji, he was very strong with that long front straightaway, so I believe he got a 2nd place there. But then we had several races where there was a bit of a lull in his performance until St. Croix, where he finally got that win this season.
Yeah, he struggled in the first race at St. Croix, finished 6th, but also he had problems at the Kraken, if you may remember. Suzuki finished 5th, Bathurst he finished 5th. I think that was probably because the Aston really didn't suit the track there. Also, Dan's did make a few mistakes at that track there too, but then St. Croix, as you said, picked it up, got a win. Got a 4th place finish at Autopolis. The race is just about to start, and let's see if he gets his 2nd win of the season in 3 and hopefully keep this championship alive.
Let's see if we can. As we get on the pole position, we have Arc Lemmy, followed by Arc PKMZ, Dance 3 in 3rd, Kevmeister 4th, Kobu 5th, Alex 6th, Chill 7th, Matt Wing 8th, and Ruben in 9th. Let's go on board with Arc Lemmy as they go into turn 1, and we expect PKMZ to quickly take the lead from the race here, as we see 1 lights, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, the engine's revving, and we're green here at Monza as the start. Again, PKMZ, just an absolute rocket off the line, looking farther back behind him. Dance 3 Lemmy moves over to cover from Dance 3 as they go into turn 1 side by side. Now Dance will get the move done as we're breaking just past the 100-meter board. Looking back behind, we see Chill Nom Nom. The entire rest of the field moving very close, 3 wide through that turn 1 between Ruben and Kobu GT, just squeezing out Mountain. Kobu spins at the start there.
Spins.
So we'll go back on board with that in just a second, as we see again PKMZ ahead of Dance 303, ahead of Chill Nom Nom, ahead of CRubennnn, ahead of Kevmeister, ahead of Matt Wing, Alex Rogers, and then Kobu GT. Let's go back and get a bit of a replay as they head into turn 1. Let's see what happens here. Kobu GT, we're going to see him, yep, he's going to go side by side with Matt Wing here as they go into turn 1 with Ruben as well. I believe Matt Wing will just clip his rear quarter panel and spin him out, which will cause Matt Wing to fall back and Alex Rogers again to plow into him. So terrible start from both those drivers.
Basically 3 into 1 didn't go with the Metafilio.
Maybe not, and again we just see a bit of a penalty there popping up on Kobu GT's screen there, serving it immediately, as I was assuming he took just too much of the cane to too much of the second chicane. Looking farther up in the field, very close race for the top 3 here. PKMZ still leading ahead of Dance, ahead of Lemmy. But looking farther back, Chill Nom Nom's making a bit of a gap to Kevmeister in 5th, but is seemingly closing down to Lemmy in 3rd. Kevmeister again in 5th place, but Ruben into the 6th. So great start from Ruben to move up from that last position on the grid. Matt Wing and Alex Rogers and Kobu GT all rounding out the back of the grid after they got in that kerfuffle in turn 1.
Great start from Nom Nom. Started 7th already, up to 4th position, trying to get on the back of Lemmy. I'm just wondering if Lemmy will just give that position to Nom Nom, just just cruise into the finish to secure the championship, or do you think they'll go for the win?
Lemmy, he's a racer by heart. I think he's going to want to win if he can win. He's not the kind of guy to play it smart. He's not an Alan Prost kind of driver. He doesn't sit there and wait. He doesn't sit in 3rd place for when you win the championship in 3rd place. He's going to go for the win if he can see it. So that's what I expect to see here. Is Dance 303 is slowly pitching up to the back of PKMZ as they head through Curva Grande now. We might see a move from Dance 303 as they head towards the 2nd chicane here. Look at the closing speed of the difference. Not quite going to go for the move yet, biding his time.
Another good start as well is from CRubennnn. Started last, already up to second position, but you did mention in the opening.
Oh, Lemmy has a
Lemmy's
2.5 second penalty.
Penalty.
A 2.5-second penalty for Lemmy. They're taking too much of the curve in the second chicane, and that's going to cost him big time. Now Danz doesn't have to worry about Lemmy right behind him, and he can focus on catching up to and passing PKMZ. But again, if Lemmy falls back to that 9th place position, the championship will still be open.
Yeah, he must have shortcut the Reggio, I believe. That's why he must have got a 2.5-second penalty. But yeah, getting back to Ruben, made that bit of aggressive start there, and now he's up to 5th place and all over the back of NomNom actually. So NomNom has lost that potential place there over Kev. Kev has actually pulled a lot away from Chilled, so big mistake from NomNom somewhere.
Look at the speed of that beetle with the 7th gear, just using the draft to shield NomNom, but not going for the pass, using it to save fuel, might jump him in the pits. Looking back behind, you see Lemmy now going to be on a hard charge to make up as many positions as he can. Back on board the leader, or 2nd place I should say, Gr3, with a 0.7-second gap separating him and PKMZ as they cross the start finish line and head towards the first chicane here. Here we go. So see Ruben and NomNom side by side into turn 1. Ruben should get the move done fairly cleanly. Yes, he will. Lemmy not quite close enough to go with him. Good move from Ruben. As Alex Rogers,
Alex made a big mistake in the middle of the Retafilio.
Gets on the throttle a bit too early and gets the rear of the car just completely unsettled as he now has to defend from Mattwing, who will have a stronger car with a higher top speed going around the outside of Curva Grande. He can brake later into the Reggio. Looks like he will. Yes, he will. Alex will lose a position.
Good pass. A strong committed overtake from Mattwing there, but I was actually watching Alex the lap before, and he was behind Mattwing, and he made the pass, and then made the mistake at the Retafilio again. Passing someone, and then making a mistake a few corners later.
It seems like Alex Rogers has some things to work on with his racecraft here. Looking farther up in the field, you'll see Ruben. Again at 4th, NomNom holding off Arc Lemmy as they head into Ascari. Lemmy around the outside and the entrance to Ascari. Beautiful pass. Let's see if we can get a bit of a replay on that here. It's absolutely wonderful. There just drives around the outside of him. Black corner, carries more speed through the corner as the inside for the next excellent pass. Up into 5th place is Arc Lemmy.
Yeah, Lemmy making his charge back up through the order, but again, it's still good enough for him to take the Drivers' Championship.
That it is. But definitely Kevin Meister's thrown a bit of that spin from Alex Rogers earlier on in the race, I believe. No, it was Lemmy. The penalty from Lemmy, excuse me.
Lemmy,
so much action going on here. Has definitely thrown a bit of a wrench into the championship for that 2nd place here. As Kepmeister now sitting in 3rd and Ruben up into 4th, with NomNom just behind Lemmy in 6th. So again, we have in the top 4 drivers that are all kind of fighting for that 2nd place in the championship.
Kobu's on a mission actually, after meeting him, getting contact in the first corner and getting the penalty. He is catching a lot on Mattwing and Alex for 7th place.
That gap close down as he heads towards the 2nd chicane here. He's definitely purple, so he's going faster in that 1st sector here. Gap is close to just under 2 seconds to Alex Rogers and Mattwing in front of him. Alex Rogers a 2.5-second penalty, taking too much of the 2nd chicane there. So that should definitely drop him back into the clutches of Kobu. And there we go, he serves the penalty, and Kobu will move up in place and set his sights on Mattwing for 7th.
It's a very easy mistake to do, and I can understand how harsh the penalties is, but it's a very easy mistake to make.
Would you say that maybe Alex Rogers might be skipping the post-driver interview today?
Possibly. After what happened in the practice race when you got into the back of him.
Looking farther up in the field, back at the leaders, we have our PKMZ with a 1-second gap over Gr3 as they head just now across the start finish line. Kevmeister in 3rd place, now fairly big gap behind him and in front of him, but the gap not quite closing down the dance field, so it's fairly stabilized here. Ruben now trying to hold off Lemmy for that 4th place. Let's see to go on board with him as Lemmy makes that pass into turn 1
He's not really defending his position here. He's not defending his 4th place down. He just gives that spot to Lemmy.
Playing the long game here at Monza, saving fuel, hoping to jump a lot of drivers in the pits, because Lemmy had that penalty, so he really has to push now to gain as many positions back as he can, which means he has to use more tires and more fuel, which means a longer pit stop. So Ruben definitely playing the long game, jumping up in that 7th gear very early, short shifting, just trying to get the draft of Lemmy, save as much fuel as he can. So he knows his car isn't strong here, so he's going to try and play to his strengths, which is his pit stop time and his fuel consumption.
Cap's going up for the lead now. It's now to 1.4 seconds, so PK is definitely, he's found something at this track there, definitely. But yeah, I'm surprised to see Dan's there falling behind of PK in races in second.
That it has. PKMZ is doing all that he can to try and control that lead. Definitely interesting. Looking at the fuel differences on those cars and the tire wear, they're roughly about the same. So PKMZ doing an excellent job here at the front of the lead. Hopefully he doesn't use too much of the tires, which is what we saw happen to Kevin Meister here last year, trying to catch up to see Ruben for the race lead after he made his 2nd pit stop. So hopefully we don't see a repeat of that, but in reverse. Kevin Meister again in a solid 3rd place, followed by Art Lemmy now in 4th place. Ruben in 5th, Nom Nom in 6th, Matt Wing in 7th. Kobu GT in 8th, and Alex Rogers rounding out the back of the grid in 9th place. Is that something you'd ever think you hear someone say, Alex Rogers rounding out the back of the grid?
No, that's a very rare thing to hear that, but again, the Porsche just struggles around on the straight line here, and this track is predominantly known for straight lines, and like I said at the start of the race, it's a very long race with the Porsches. And, you know, myself and Obama had this problem back in season 1. The Porsche is really not suited to this track at all.
Back up the field, the gap still between Dan's and PK, roughly still about the same. Slowly coming down, it's only 1.1 now. Looking back at the battle for 5th place. Ruben's just a second behind Lemmy, who is trying his best to close up that 3rd place of Headmeister, and Nom Nom sitting in a solid 6th place. So just 6 laps into this race here, of 25 laps here around Monza, and things have already stabilized.
Yeah, that's a bit of a shame. We want to see some battle going on. Could someone, like, I don't know, bring out a safety car or something?
Well, in fairness, last race it was a very similar race to this, but it came down to the last 5 laps of that race where we saw Kevin Meister just on an absolute charge to try and catch up to the man you see on screen right now, you see Ruben. So it's a very late race where things happen here at Monza. It's not an early race or where it happens all throughout it like we see at St. Paul. But Ruben again picking up a 1.5-second penalty at the exit of Ascari. Just taking too much curb. Will serve it immediately. Allow Chill Noglin to catch right up to the back of him there. Possibly make the pass.
He's not served his full penalty though.
Trying to carry as much as he can, especially on the straights here. Penalties here are almost a death sentence with how much time you lose because of them. To serve the rest of it here across the start-finish line, which should allow Chill Noglin to go by him.
Yeah, he will do now. There he goes, just gets us by him, and Ruben has served his penalty. So Nom Nom back into 5th.
Good result from the Aston Martin so far. Back in field, we see Kobu GT and Matt Wing side by side. Kobu trying to find a way by Matt Wing. Almost a repeat of what happened in the first lap, but no contact this time around. Kobu GT up into 7th with a fantastic pass.
Yeah, Kobu should be feeling confident after the last race. The surprise package there. You see a replay. Look at it going to the inside of the Reservilio, but then he'll have the outside for this corner. Matt Wing gives a wide berth, and Kobu gets the power on early. Just drives away and gets that 7th place. But yeah, Kobu should be feeling a lot confident in the last race there. Definitely the surprise package of all top of this as he picks up a penalty. He had another one.
Kobu GT definitely, once he gets that free air, he just goes a little bit too fast, trying to take too much curb as he now falls back behind Matt Wing and almost Alex Rogers here.
Yeah.
Definitely a close battle for the 7th place here in the back of the grid.
Alex will get the run. Let's go to the inside, going into Ascari now, side by side. German engineering. both of them.
See
Who's
here,
going to be the
Kobo
brave of the
pull
last
outside.
breakers?
Nope. But we will see the position with Alex Rogers. Give Alex Rogers a chance to see if he can get by Matt and stay with him. Looking inside, but Alex is defensive. Last thing they want to do, last thing they want to do is fight right now, because that means Matt Wing will pull away.
I think that was just about gap to stick a BMW, but Alex, they're brave in the parabolica there.
Very close racing from these drivers. Looking farther up in the field, he's still leading over Dan's 303. Almost 1.5 seconds now separating them. So Dan's slightly falling back off the back of PK. Kevmeister in third place, but Lemmy is pulling up to the back of Kevmeister.
Sorry, I was just laughing at Kobe, who just literally bump drafting Alex Rogers across the start-finish line.
Well, he's going to have to be careful of that, as I do believe in the past, after the past race that we saw at St. Croix, Autopolis, there might have been a bit of a ruling between some of the drivers about not allowing bump drafting, so going to have to keep an eye on that. As Art Lenny now is trying to push to close his way up to Kevmeister. 1.5 seconds separate them, but Kevmeister, ooh, getting a little squirrely at the exit of Lesmo 1. That will definitely give him 2/10 of time there. Lemmy knows that. He's definitely pushing through Lesmo 2, but trying to control his car as much as he can.
Whoa, he held on to that quite well. You don't want to be touching those wheels on the AstroTurf at the exit of the Lesbos. Got a battle for 5th place now. Nom Nom and Ruben catching up. Ruben caught up to Nom Nom after picking up a penalty a couple of laps ago.
See here as they head to Ascari. Jill Nom Nom doing a very good job to hit that car. Entered into Ascari there. Expect Ruben to get the draft on the exit here. Let's see. Will it come down?
Definitely is. Just slowly though.
7th gear in that Volkswagen Beetle. A Beetle not normally a car you'd expect to see in GT3 racing, but it's definitely performing well. Definitely gaining a lot of time through the Parabolica there. Now right in the draft of that Aston Martin as they head across the start-finish straight and head towards turn 1.
Interesting there to see Nom Nom had a different line there. Normally you could put the car out wide for the exit of the Parabolica, but he kept it in the middle of the track and Ruben's kept it on the outside.
There's a touch. Oh. That's a touch. You can see that the damage to the back of Jill Nom Nom's Aston Martin there. There's no gain in position, so just a bit of a bump. Robin is racing, but Ruben let Nom Nom know, I'm right here.
Meanwhile, the gap between PK and Dan's is now less than half a second.
Dan is going to like that as they enter Lesmo 2, and if he can stay in that gap, you might see a move going into Ascari. The gap still half a second coming down. Let's see if there might be a pass for the lead here going into Ascari. That Aston Martin, very powerful in the straights, especially with the draft of that car in front of him. He's definitely pulling. I don't think it's going to be close enough. He will go for the dive bomb. Not quite.
Not into that Ascari. I think he'll make the move going into the Parabolica. I think that's when Dan's will make the move. Just looking at the lap times here, incredibly consistent between the top two. Right, from PK, 147.6, 147.6, 147.3, 147.5, 147.3, 147.4, 147.9. Dan's has done a 147.7, 147.6, 147.6, 147.7. Absolutely consistent lap times for these two drivers, all in the 147s. I thought Dan's would have passed PK at the Parabolica, but no, he would try to probably save some fuel, wouldn't he?
Yep, just waited a second. He waited his time, but now he's on the front straight, the longest straight of the course. He's in the draft, 3/10s, just under that. But no, he's waiting. He's saving fuel. Yeah. He's going to pass him in the pits.
Dan's is exactly down to halfway down on fuel. PK is a little bit above, over half distance on fuel.
I think Dan's knows that V12 is a very thirsty engine, so I believe he's going to try and save some fuel now. Hope so PK doesn't get too big of a gap on him at the exit. There's one pit stop. Looking farther back, let's see, look at Kevmeister, 1.6 seconds separate him in 11th for 4th place. Jill Nom Nom and C. Ruben still battling for that 5th place. Farther back in the field, we see Matt Wing has broken away from Alex Rogers and CRubennnn GT for that 7th place. Now the battle for 5th place between Ruben and Nom Nom. Belgian versus the Brit as they head towards Lesmo 1 now.
Ruben got got away with it there. I seen Ruben cut a lot of curb on the second of the Reggio, but didn't pick up a penalty for that.
Beetle super stable through Lesmo 2, just able to get the power down earlier than the Aston. But again, Ruben just biding his time. He's going to try and pass him in the pit lane, using that 7th gear, short shifting early, maybe changing a bit of the fuel map. Just staying in the draft of that faster car, letting him pull it along. Lap 10 of 25, soon to be lap 11. Pit stops not quite yet. Expect another
2 or 3 laps at least.
Yeah, roughly that, Dan Spears. He has fallen off the back of PKMC, which is not what he wants. He wants to be right on the back of PKMC, so he doesn't have to use fuel and he can short shift. It's safe fuel for that pit stop, but as soon as PKMC pulls away, he can't do that.
Ruben's lost a bit of time on the back of Nom Nom.
Well, he has. Might have been a small mistake through Ascari. His second off pace, and Nom Nom, he's out of the draft, so now he can pull away, doesn't have to worry about Ruben behind him, but now Ruben has to use as much fuel as he can and his tires to try and get back into the draft so he can start saving fuel again. But there was one driver making pit stop. Alex Rogers making his pit stop now.
That's a very early pit stop to be going, and that's...
Yes, his tires...
So looking at his tyres, and his tyres look very good after 10 laps, so you never know, he'll be going for the one-stop strategy. But the tyres after 10 laps were still looking quite good.
Yeah, it's definitely still within one-stop strategy territory, but he might be trying to go for that, going for that undercut. But I think maybe he's going a bit too early on the undercut.
Yeah, I would have predicted maybe lap 12 to make your first pit stop, well, one and only pit stop. But pitting on lap 10 is a bit too early for me, like. Oh, PK! PK nearly lost on the exit of the Scotty, got too much curb and went into the kitty litter. Kept it going though, but really hasn't lost a lot of time.
Let's see the replay here. Yeah, no, he was fairly stable there, but he definitely went out for the gravel trap. Gap now 1.2, so he has definitely lost time.
Yeah, not a lot of time though. Oh wow, it's down less than a second. He did run extremely wide at the parabolic there too, so PK making little mistakes here and there, and Dance is catching up again. Back in the slipstream as Dance. Less than a second.
That's what Dance wants to see. He wants to see that gap just under 8 tenths. Because I'll give him the fuel saving he needs in the draft of the car in front to do it. Looking farther back in the field, Kev Meister still 1.6, 1.7, separating him and Lemmy. But we know Lemmy at this point usually likes to wait in the wings. He tries to make that pit stop. We'll see him short shift, just save fuel and try to jump the guy in front of him in the pits. At this point now, it's a fuel saving race. We expect the pits, a lot of drivers to make their pit stop either now or the next lap. So we'll see as they come around, try to start coming straight yet again what happens.
I was just showing a replay of Kobu that he picked up yet another penalty on the Ascari. Don't know how long the penalty was though, but a third penalty for Kobu.
Back for this battle for 5th. It's still between Ruben and Nom Nom. Closest battle on track. 10 separating them now as they went through the second chicane and head towards through Lesmo 1. Let's look at the different fuel strategies between them. Comparing the cars, of course, Ruben, the Pirelli Picasso himself, is almost twice better on his tires than the Aston Martin. Looking at the fuel, it's actually quite a big difference between the two.
Yeah, there is. There's a bit of a difference there. But that's Ruben. He's just saving fuel as he's just sticking behind him. The back of Nom Nom.
Playing the long game here at Monza. Just farther up at the field, the leaders between Kenzie and Dance will do. Let's see if they make their pit stop this time around. They dive into the pit lane.
He's not.
Oh, they are not. So we're going to wait this one more lap. Let's follow back and Kev going. Kev will go.
Kev's going in
with Lemmy.
Kev's going in.
Lemmy comes in with just 3% more fuel. That will help him. They might come out side by side of the pit lane. We will see. These tires going on.
Rubens is going in the pit lane. Rubens is in the pits, but also saved more fuel than the pair of Kev and Lemmy.
That he did. Also some happening now in the field. Yeah, Kevmeister
Oh, that nose tail.
just in front of Lemmy at the exit of the pit lane. Lemmy did not save just enough fuel, but he's going to be all over the back of him heading into the first corner. But that means Kevmeister will have the inside. Lemmy will have to fall back and try to find a way by. But now we expect Lemmy to try and make that pass. As this is now for position, there is no more fuel saving to be done. All the tires have been changed. Their one pit stop is now out of the way, and it is now race time. Stalking the back of that Toyota Supra. Kevmeister will go slightly defensive, but not quite. He will leave the door open for Lemmy, but Lemmy not quite close enough on the brakes. Kev, a little bit later, almost not taking quite as tight as the line through the first left-hander there of the chicane. Out through Lesmo, we'll see how those cars do. Kev definitely needs a bit more brakes, trail braking through Lesmo 1. You can definitely see the difference in driving styles as per the cars and the drivers. Out through Lesmo 2, Lemmy is getting on the throttle, maintaining that gap. Just in the draft, 2/10.
Do you think Lemmy is probably working with Kev to maybe say we should catch up to PK and Dance when they're making their pit stops? Which I believe both PK and Dance are making their pit stops.
Kev made a big mistake and lost position to Lemmy. He got on the throttle a bit too early, lost the rear end of the car, and now Lemmy is ahead of both of those drivers. Let's get a bit of a replay of that as it happened. We'll see here as they enter Ascari. Kev just gets on the throttle a bit too early, just throttles bounding on the curve, and Lemmy goes right on by. And now this is going to be an important part. The fuel for both those cars. Will it be enough? Will they come out in front of this pack here? PKMZ is out.
PK holds the lead. Where is Dance? He's just come out. So it looks like, yeah, it's still normal service resumed. PK first, Dance second, and Lemmy. What's going on?
There goes Kev, just the power of that Supra driving right on by Lemmy for third place. So it is a close battle for third right now.
I didn't see your screen there when Kev made the mistake at Ascari. Did Lemmy get into the back of him?
No, it was just a simple mistake from Kev on the throttle a bit too early, maybe a bit too much of a turning angle. Just the rear end of the car got out, he caught it, ended up wide on the second part of Ascari, and Lemmy just drove right on by. But this is not what Dan's wanted to see. Dan's did not want this to happen. He needed to stay in the draft of PKMZ to save fuel. He did not, and now PKMZ can just drive away from Dan's.
Yeah, Dan's lost quite a bit of time.
As has Lemmy now. Looking at the gap between Kevmeister and Lemmy, there's roughly a second separating them now.
You have to excuse me, I've got a sore throat by the way, so it's hard for me to talk right now.
I've got one
I do apologize.
Looking back in the field, we see Kobu GT in that 7th place on the back of Chill Nom Nom.
I think he's actually purple too on the end of sector 2.
Oh, but Kobu GT has yet to make a pit stop. So.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I mean, Ruben has dropped Nom Nom in the pit stop, and there's a big gap between them.
Oh, Nom Nom sideways into an Ascari. Did you see that?
I did.
Yeah, so Kobu will be making this pit stop possibly this time. Well, he might not. He might stay out though, but he will possibly go back to last place as a result. I don't know how far back is Alex though. Alex 2.2 off mapping, so yeah, Kobu will be back in last. But he will have fresher tyres and more fuel. So Kobu should catch up to Alex within about 2-3 laps then. No, Kobu stays out and does another lap.
Interesting strategy from Kobu, trying to stay out just as long as he can on those warm tires. I don't expect him, to make it to the end. There's no way he's going to be able to do a no-stop on that car. He will need to pit for fuel, at the very least.
On my screen, looking at Kobu there, it says P on number 7. So does that mean he pitted on lap 7?
Where you see that?
On the times, if you go to not on the display time.
I don't see that.
Oh, you don't see it on your screen? I see it on my screen. Interesting. So anyway, carry on.
He might have pitted early on in lap 7, but I don't think it's enough to make.
And he's got another penalty.
Picks up another penalty. We'll have to immediately serve that with positive ball right on the back of Chill Nom Nom. Looking farther up the field, the closest battle is for third place between Levy and Kevmeister, but this track definitely favors the Supra over the Lexus. Let's go on board with Lemmy as he tries to catch right up to the back of that Supra as it exits Ascari. within 3/10, so he's definitely within the prime drafting area. Kev is defensive as they head towards the Parabolica. Kev definitely closing.
And Kev's going defensive, going into Parabolica. It might cost him on the exit. Lemmy's going for the crisscross.
You will get side by side, but that Supra is known for its straight line speed, so we expect Kev to just pull away. And there it is. We see the straight line difference between the Supra and the Lexus.
Look at that. Lemmy sets the fastest lap to 146.5. He has smashed the lap record from last season.
He's going to look around the outside in the turn 1 chicane. They're side by side. He has to force Kev a bit wide, almost into the gravel, but doesn't quite get it. But Kev will pick up a 2-second penalty.
How did he get that?
I don't know. Did he take too much of the first chicane going defensive?
He must have went too much curb in the Rettifilo.
Yep. He had all 4 tires over the curb going into saying defensive. He took too much of a defensive line to hold position. That is Kev's fault. Served his penalty immediately, has now fallen back to 4th place. Lemmy in 3rd.
Oh, and he nearly lost it in the Reggio too.
Managed to hold on to it, took it farther back for 5th place. Ruben still ahead of Chil Nom Nom for that 5th place. With the follow up the leaders, they gap still 3 seconds separate PKMZ and Dance 303.
That was a shame there, because that was a good battle for 3rd between Kev and Lemmy.
Also, an interesting thing to note that we haven't touched on. PKMZ's livery for is now different. He is running the Good Smile Racing Hatsune Miku sponsor on his car, not running the normal gray and blue sponsor we normally see.
How did you know it was that Hatsune whatever you call it?
The character that also sponsors a racing car and Super GT and GT300 cars.
Ah, right, okay.
PKMZ, a known fan of the Good Smile Racing team over in Japan, also happens to race in a 24-hour series. So using the Hatsune Miku sponsor livery on his car, perhaps in homage to them. Leading here, definitely helping him win here at Monza. Champion, reigning, defending champion, Dance 3 in 2nd place, with Lemmy, most likely, barring a disconnect here today, will take the championship here at Monza. Kevin Meister in a solid 4th place after making that mistake, holding off Lemmy. Ruben is still trying his best to hold off with Chil Nom Nom, 1 second separating them for that 5th place. Matt Wing back in 7th place ahead of Alex Rogers, and then Kobu GT rounding out the back of the grid.
Yeah, he's down by 20 seconds. Has he picked up another penalty or spun it or something?
He finally made his pit stop.
Yeah, I know he made his pit stop, but he couldn't be that far back anyways. Surely not been that far.
Pit lane here is pretty long.
Oh, it could be higher. It's right there. I'm see with my sore throat. I'm not thinking at all today.
Oh, there's a bit of a difference here. Dance 303 has now dropped almost 6 seconds off the back of PKMZ.
Oh.
Is there what happened here? Can we get a bit of a replay of what happened?
Was he a bit slow off the Lesbos, or picked up a penalty at Reggio?
That might have been what it was, but now Lemmy knows that he can possibly take that 2nd place ahead of Dance.
Yeah, I think Lemmy can smell blood. He will want that 2nd place. Sorry.
Let's go on board with Lemmy. Let's see if we watch that gap come down. 3.3 seconds separate them as they start lap 18. Let's watch on board with Lemmy and see if that gap will continue to close as they round out the lap.
Dan's last lap was a 150.0. Lemmy's last lap was a 147.2. So that gap has gone down a lot. He's also pulling away from Kev Meister too, is Lemmy.
1.6 separate them now as they go through the first chicane. So the gap has increased here. Now through Curva Grande. 3.6 seconds separate them. Lemmy definitely taking the tight line, not the wide line we see some of the cars taking, trying to carry more speed. Going into the 2nd chicane here, 3.7 now as they enter it. Trying the best to control the car, but now 3.8. So Lemmy is falling off the back of Dance 303 here. Dance 303 on a hard charge to try and catch back up to PKMZ. Back in Still 1.2, 1.1 separate them now for that 5th place.
Realistically, that's the close battle we've got so far. Everyone else is just spread it out, so it's hard for us to talk about something.
No, definitely doing his best here, but actually kind of taking it to some of the drivers here today. He's definitely ahead of Alex Rogers here today. He's close and battle with Ruben, who fought for the championship win here last season. So Nom, I probably, in my honest opinion, would probably, with this race and one more race left in the season, would probably my pick to win Rookie of the Year. Who would you say is your pick for Rookie of the Year?
Oh, I never noticed it Rookie of the Year. I know Kobu has won some rookie races too, so I don't think you can count him out. But I think Nom's been pretty much the more of the consistent of the 4 of them. We've seen Foxy had patches of greatness, but then sort of fell off the cliff in previous rounds. But Nom has just been there or thereabouts, hasn't he? So yeah, I think that's definitely a good shout for Rookie of the Season.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be between Kobu GT and Chilton. Strong finish at Fuji and the last race there at the top was at a strong 2nd place after qualifying 2nd. Looking farther back in the field, looks like Alex Rogers is trying to slowly. Actually, no, Kobu GT has actually made his way by Alex Rogers. How did Kobu GT make up nearly 20 seconds to Alex Rogers?
I'm guessing Alex must have spun. Yeah, his last lap, 2 minutes 9.466. So Alex has made a huge mistake.
And he's in last place right now. He's not going to score any significant amount of points, and he's going to miss the next round of the championship. He's going to be effectively out of that race for 2nd place.
Pretty much, he's going to have to qualify his race. He needs to qualify his way in for Season 3 if he wants to be in TNA.
Definitely seems to be the case. Looking farther back up the field, the gap still between 1st and 2nd, 5 seconds. The 3.5 separate 2nd and 3rd, 4th, in a solid space by itself. Ruben and Chilton still 1.5 seconds separate them. Matt Wing in a solid 7th place with 25 seconds separating him and Kobu GT, who just managed to make his way by Alex Rogers.
I know it's a bit of a disappointment, but Matt Wing is on course to equal his best finish of the season. He picked up a 7th for Sakwa. But yeah, again, it's just disappointing that we've only got 9 races this year tonight.
Hopefully next year we can see a bit more close racing. We see some more drivers on the field towards the end of the season. This seems to be a bit of a trend we have here with the ARC Championship Series. Where as long as the season goes on, we have some of the drivers' attendance drops off a bit. Hopefully we get to see that fixed the longer arc goes on.
And hopefully we don't get to see any Lexuses winning any more championships.
Well, you're currently on track to win 2 drivers' championships in the Lexus, but I'm not quite sure if we're close enough or far enough away to clinch the constructors.
I'll do some mathematics on the constructors now. Let's see. So where is Lemmy? Lemmy's in 3rd.
Well, you work on that. Just on board with PKMZ right now. The gap has again slightly fallen, just under 5 seconds, but still 4.8, 4.9 seconds. So PKMZ definitely a commanding lead here at Monza. Very comfortable here. Similar to how comfortable he was at Bathurst, just definitely a strong track for him today. Still on board with Dan's for at least the lap here as he goes rounds the curve of Parabolica. Don't forget, for those of you watching in the Twitch chat, we do have the driver of the day vote. Just type the driver's name that you believe is the best driver here on track today, and they will win the driver of the day. So don't forget to interact with us on Twitch chat there.
Has there been any comments in the chat?
There's been a couple. We have one person rooting for Kobu. We have Sheriff UK rooting for Dan's. Couple of fans just watching the race. Thank you all for coming out and watching this with us. It means a lot to all of us here in the Adrenaline Racing community. Excuse me.
That's quite embarrassing to not know what ARC is.
At least I'm not calling everyone defiant.
Anyways, I'm looking at the Fight, who's sitting in 9th place. Oh, look, it's the Fight that's leading.
That'd be
Actually, the gap is
interesting.
closing down, believe it or not. Yeah, down to
Yeah, it actually
4.4.
is. I wonder if that's down to tire wear between the two drivers. It is not. They're actually effectively the same tire wear and fuel wear.
Yeah, I think it's just the case that Dan's just a wee bit peed off, and he's just putting the pedal to the metal. But you know, there's about nearly 4 laps to go until the end of the race. I think 4 seconds is probably a bit too much, but you know, stranger things have happened.
Definitely has. And you know, weekends you can see that gap coming down, tries to make towards the chicane, and then next thing you know, Dan's field is right on the back of him after shooting the penalty. That's Monza for you. Anything like that comes down to a driver mistake, a simple error could change the outcome of this race, and we've seen it several times already.
I've done some calculations here, Lateral. So for the constructors' points, Pegasus will be on 367. The Astons, together stronger, will be on 324. So there'll be a 43-point gap going into Interlagos.
I'm just trying to get a replay here. There seems to be an incident between Alex Rogers. Yes, he just spun on the second chicane and hit the wall on the inside.
Oh, Alex, do you know? I know how you feel. This car is. I think he's just.
Yeah,
he's packing it in. I think he's
slowing back straight. He's going to finish the
touring.
race, which is respectable, but he's not going to be charging any harder this more. His race is effectively over for him.
And that is definite now that he will have to race or qualify his way into TNA for next season. Such a shame. High hopes for him at the start of the season. My pick to win the championship. And yeah, disappointment for Alex.
Back to you were saying about the constructors' points.
Yeah, so anyways, I was saying Pegasus will be on 367 after Monza. Together stronger, the Astons will be on 324, so there'll be a 43-point gap going into Interlagos, the final round.
And they could easily close that gap if Defiant, again, does not show up to the race, and it's left to just Lemmy to defend that lead. With those two Astons, especially being strong, and it's a track that both of them are looking forward to, they could score some good points there and possibly take the constructors.
They had a great points all at Sacqua, finishing 1st and 4th at the Astons.
Did. The gap now, just looking at the gap between PKMZ and Dansfield 3, it's down to 3.6 seconds now.
Yeah, there's 3 laps to go to the end of this race, so you know, PK's just got to be a little bit careful. Just conserve the tire, conserve the fuel, but just also keep looking at that gap between the 1st and 2nd.
And for those of you wondering, as currently the Indy 500 is currently on right now, there is currently 18 laps to go under a yellow flag, and Alexander Rossi is leading ahead of Pagano, Carpenter, Newgarden, and Sato.
Yes, normally this Saturday is the best racing Saturday ever because you got the Monaco Grand Prix, you got the Indy 500.
Saturday.
For the NASCAR fan, did I say Saturday? Oh dear me, I meant Sunday. Anyways, for the best racing on Sundays, you got the Monaco Grand Prix, you got the Indy 500, you got the Coke 600 for all you NASCAR fans, and you got the ARC Monza race. You know, I mean, what a perfect day. Lemmy's got a 2-second penalty.
What he does. However, he does have a good 8-second gap to...
Alex is spun at Lesbo.
Well,
and I think he's
going to have to be careful he doesn't pull at you and just sit there and cause a yellow flag, which could raise some issues.
Yeah, he did. I thought he was going to park his car and just make a sandcastle out of that kitty litter, but oh well, now he's got that going again.
That's good to see. Dan 303 very wide at the exit of Ascari.
Oh wow, he's pushing the car literally. I think that's game over now, surely.
Let's see here, but most likely will be. Let's see what just happened here. Did he miss his braking zone? Or did the car
I think
break
he just
out
went full on kamikaze.
Yeah, he just didn't turn. He just floored it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, proper full-on committed. But that didn't work.
Yeah, the gap is now raised back up to 5 seconds. It's effectively over. PKMZ should cross the lines, barring any other incidents between him and any other drivers. Should come across the line in 1st place. Dance in 2nd, Lemmy in 3rd, Kev Meister again matching his best finish of the season in 4th place.
which was no. Kev Meister got a third. It's Dragon Trail.
Oh yes, that is correct. He did manage to get on the fourth track. Looking at the battle between tracks, actually a bit of a battle track between CRubennnn and CRubennnn. The gap is closed down to just 0.3 as the race here rounds out. Let's look back on board with CRubennnn as he tries to defend CRubennnn, that stronger car, especially on this track. Just look at the top speed difference that you're seeing here. CRubennnn all over the back of him, moving to the inside, maybe the outside of the chicane, but not quite the best place to maybe make the move. Thinks better of it.
Ooh. And this is also going to be big for the constructors too, because that'll be 4 points gained if he passes Rubens for 5th.
CRubennnn definitely on a hard charge here to find his way by the Volkswagen Beetle that is in front of him.
CRubenn's been the fastest of the two drivers there. Looking at the last 4 laps, Rubens' last 4 laps have been sorry, I'm looking at Kev Meister, my apologies. 148.3, 148.9, 148.8, and 148.5, 149.2. Whereas CRubennnn is doing 148.2, 148.7, 149.1, 148.3, 148.6. So CRubennnn is the fastest driver out of the pair of them.
We'll see if that gap can come down as the leader crosses the line for this final lap, as well as Dan Gr3. We're back onto this battle that could be crucial for the Constructors' Championship. 0.6 separate them now as they head towards the curva Parabolica to start their last lap. CRubennnn goes wide on the entry, gets too late on the brakes. That's going to cost him here on the front straightaway, which will definitely fall into the hands of CRubennnn with the better straightaway speed of the Aston Martin. He's all over the back of CRubennnn. They had a bit of a run-in at the end of the race that we saw back at St. Croix.
Yeah, and he's just gone by. He's just gone by.
Absolute power by the Aston Martin, but that means CRubennnn is now in the draft, and that means CRubennnn will have to defend for this last lap, which could arguably be to CRubenn's favor.
But look at Rubens' fuel. He doesn't have a lot of fuel left for the last lap. I'm looking at CRubenn's fuel. CRubenn's is not as bad as well, so this is going to be tight, actually.
They're actually roughly the same on tires and fuel, so it's going to be very close as they come across the line. Again, these two drivers have been going at it quite a bit. CRubennnn a bit wide, a bit slow to the second chicane. CRubennnn all over the back of him now. We enter Lesmo 1. CRubennnn doing the best he can to try and control that heavy Aston Martin to the curve with his worn tires and almost empty fuel. CRubennnn in the back of him. He's going to be all over the back of him as they now head towards the Scari.
PK's coming across the Parabolica for the final time to pick up his second win of the season, his second also in his career. But more importantly, Dan's the outgoing champion will finish second, and Lemmy will come across the line to get, again, another podium finish and to be crowned the new Tier 2 champion. You call it there, Lateral.
Here we go. Art Lemmy around Parabolica for the final time. As he heads across the line, he will finish third in this race, but he will be crowned champion of Season 2 of ARC. Congratulations to Arc Lemmy. Kev Meister will come across the line in fourth, but CRubennnn seemingly managed to hold off CRubennnn.
Oh, Rubens has gone really wide at the Parabolica.
That he has, but he's still too far back, trying to get as much of a run as he can, but CRubennnn will hold on to it and score 5th place and add those ever so crucial points for the Aston Martin Constructors team. CRubennnn will finish 6th, Matt Wing will come across the line in 7th, Code GT will cross the line in 8th, and Alex Rogers in 9th place.
Yeah, just looking at the replay there, Rubens just understeered through Parabolica and just went off there. So CRubennnn, solid 5th place finish again, best place rookie. So again, another good point total for Aston Martin. And the gap now for the Constructors' Championship is down to 39 points.
I have to be honest, that's an overcomable gap. That's not insurmountable.
That is a good gap to close down like.
Either way, congratulations to PKMZ and Mercedes-Benz AMG, and congratulations once again to Arc Lemmy for clinching the Arc Season 2 Tier A Championship. We'll be back with you momentarily for drivers' interviews, so don't go anywhere, and thank you for joining us. Hello, and we are back here for some driver interviews. Dance303, oh no, there he is, he's back. Hello, Dance303, are you here? Hello, Dance. Alright, we have some technical difficulties. We'll move on to PKMZ. Hello, are you here?
Yes, I am.
Hello, PK. Congratulations on your win today at Monza. It was a very strong win for you here. You held off Dance303 throughout most of the race. What was it like out there at Monza?
It was a fairly nerve-wracking first half, and then after the whole fuel thing, I managed to get away there, and I could kind of relax a small bit.
Well, you had a very dominant win here today. The first driver, I have to admit, to prove my prediction wrong this entire season.
I did it!
Well, congratulations on your win today. And Lemmy had finally clinched the Drivers' Championship here today. Any words for Lemmy?
Oh yeah, no, I really deserved that. Like, just constant, high finishes every race. And, he's the one that deserves it most, really.
All right, well, one more round of the championship to go at Interlagos. What are your thoughts for the rest of the championship, as it is still very close for that second spot in that championship?
Interlagos is probably one of my worst tracks, so either going to be a lot of practice or just a bad finish.
All right, well, congratulations on your win today, the second win for you in your Season 2 here. Hopefully we get to see you back in the next season and after a strong result next weekend.
Thanks.
All right, not too many driver interviews today, but we do have Alex Rogers. Alex Rogers, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here, lateral. So I was just chilling. I was trying to see what other people were saying about the race, to be honest. But yeah.
All right, not a very strong race for you today. Kind of disappointing. We saw you towards the latter half of the race, almost they'll give up effectively. We saw you actually having a bit of words there in the chat in the game. What's going on there?
I don't know. I don't know why people are going 3 wide into turn 1 on a 25-lap race. Why? Like, seriously, why? Like, you were there, lateral. I know we had a bit of a jokey banter thing going on before, but like, my race was pretty much, and Kobu's to be fair, was just like ruined by people going 3 wide straight away into turn 1. And like, Kobu span in front of me, I punted him, and we were both sort of, I don't know. It left a sour taste in my mouth, to be honest with you, especially after we'd just been doing practice races afterwards.
All right, well, we have one more round of the championship left, and you do know that you are not able to attend that race. And after the poor result after today, it effectively means you're outside of the top 3 in the championship, which will mean you will have to qualify for Season 3.
That's fine. I'll come back and qualify. I nearly qualified fastest last time, so I'll just do it again. It's not a problem. No problem. So get some time in and qualify well.
Well, since this is effectively your last race in Season 2, let's start talking about a bit of Season 3 next season. What are you looking forward to? Do you think you're going to come back stronger next season? Maybe perhaps choose a different manufacturer for that season?
Yeah, probably. It'd be nice if people didn't go 3 wide into turn 1 at Monza. For next season, people could look at that. That'd be great. But yeah, just hopefully. Well, yeah, it'd be nice to come back, have a different manufacturer, learn something new. Well done for Lemmy for winning it this year. He's dominated, but yeah, I want to come back next year and do the same, to be honest with you. Like, I'm pretty determined that I've made stupid mistakes this year, and I know where I've made them, and I know how to eradicate that now, and I feel like I can come back and kill it.
All right, well, thank you for joining us, and we would love to have you back for Season 3.
Yeah, thanks, Lateral. Thanks for the effort you guys put in the commentary, by the way. It's awesome.
Thank you. Kevin, are you here?
What's up?
Hello, Kevin. You had a very strong race today, tying your second best finish for your season so far. You had a very close race for Lemmy for that 3rd place for a good while until you made a mistake through Ascari. What was going through your head for that most of the race?
Don't cock corners, don't get a penalty. Well, guess what happened? I got penalties. That's basically what ruined my race.
Well, we've seen throughout most of this season, it's been very similar for you. Your finishes have been very consistent, but not quite in the podium territory. Do you feel like that maybe it's you that might be struggling this season? Is it the car that's struggling this season?
Well, yeah, it's a bit me. I'm a bit more inconsistent, making like more mistakes. Like last season, I have no single mistake, no spin, no nothing, not even a penalty. And I've already spun twice, got a penalty and everything this season, so it's definitely not like better, but also kind of found that the car is a lot more like inconsistent. I'm not very comfortable in it. I like when I'm going into the corner, it's not really I'm going to brake at this point, I'm going to make that corner, just basically brake and hope for the best. So yeah, it's kind of a bit of both.
Alright, well, I posed this question to you earlier on in the season, and now it's a bit later, we've had some more races. I'm wondering if your opinion has changed. Last season you were very strong in the GTR, but you were also very vocal about it being a very difficult car to drive, and it just not suiting your driving style. And but this season you found the Supra a lot easier to drive, but it seems to be a bit slower with you. Do you feel that maybe you seem to be a bit better in cars that you would say have a higher skill ceiling?
Well, the thing between the Supra and the GTR is a lot more like stable and it's a lot more predictable. Like you know exactly what it's gonna do. That's the Supra's missing that. It's very like tail happy when you go on throttle, and it's very unpredictable when you go on the brake. But still, I'm still faster this year or this season. Like Bathurst, I was already 2 seconds faster compared to the GTR, but I'm not feeling as confident in the Supra as I am in the GTR because it's just a lot more predictable. So next time we get to choose a car for a season, I'm probably gonna pick something predictable, cool in handling, like go completely opposite.
All right, well, we have one more race to go in Interlagos. You looking forward to that race?
Yeah, a bit. Like Sector 1 in the last bit, Sector 3 is we're probably going to be strong, but Sector 2 is just going to be like drama.
All right, well, thank you for joining us.
No problem, mate.
Matt Wing, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, we saw earlier on in the race, we saw you going 3 wide into turn 1, and as we heard earlier, Alex Rogers being very vocal about that decision. We saw the tap into the rear quarter panel of Kobu GT at the start. What was going through your head as you went to the start and we're going 3 wide into turn 1?
Well, there was so much going on. I mean, I did have a really good start, which was a, surprise for me, but it was just one of those fast moments where I thought, one moment, I think for a split second there were 4 wides, then it went 3 wide. And, I think I could sort of I was starting to see what was happening. Ruben was on the out, inside of the turn 2, Cobra was on the outside, and I just got squeezed. I was just stuck in the middle. I had nowhere to go. There was nothing I could do. I was like easing off the accelerator, trying to back out of it, but it's just too late. It was like Cobra was like spinning into me, and there was just nowhere for me to go really. Perhaps if I had a crystal ball and I saw what was going to come in, I would have, slowed right down and just let him go. But I don't know, really, not really 100% sure what happened there. And then after that, there was a few seconds of hesitation, like, oh, what do I wait for him, or was that an instant? Or it was hard to really tell what was going on there.
Well, we saw you throughout most of the race battling with both Kobu GT and Alex Rogers towards the lower half of the grid. You had some good battles with them and managed to hold them off quite a bit. Would you say that maybe boosted your confidence a bit, perhaps in that Supra, knowing that you were actually competing with some of the guys that were normally towards the front of the field?
A little bit, yeah, but I'd probably say it's probably closer to the mark saying that it probably wasn't their track, maybe, or perhaps they just had some bad luck. But it was certainly nice, trying to I had a little bit of action there with them. But otherwise, it was a bit of a quiet race for me.
All right, well, one more race left in the season. It's Interlagos. How are you looking forward to that?
It's going to be interesting. I've not driven. I can't say I've driven this car around there yet, so I'm going to have to get an awful lot of practice in. But Who knows? I could love it, could hate it. It'll be a surprise.
All right, well, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Kobu GT, are you here?
What's up?
All right, well, Kobu, we saw at the start of the race, as we just mentioned, the 3 wide, the incident which caused you to spin right in front of Alex Rogers. What was going through your head at that moment?
It's pretty typical Monza, really. Turn 1 is usually kind of like that. Everyone kind of wants to slot in and get their position in that turn 1. 3 wide definitely was not going to work there. Since I held the inside, I think I definitely had the position to keep my spot, but since they made it 3 wide, it kind of made it hard to navigate around that corner for everyone, really. And yeah, it kind of forced Matt Wing into my rear, which just kind of made me slip out. And then I got kind of pushed into the gravel, which really didn't help me because that just really set me back by like about 5-6 seconds. Took quite a while to try and catch back up. And yeah, it was just kind of unfortunate.
All right, well, another thing I want to bring up is throughout this season, we saw a strong finish from you at Fuji. We saw a very strong finish from you at Autopolis. But for a lot of the other tracks, what comes to mind is Bathurst. We've seen a lot of inconsistency in your performance. What do you feel like? Why do you feel that's coming about?
I think it's a factor of the competition level. It's a lot higher, in my opinion, and that does definitely push me to try and get better in my consistency. Because if I can get free air, then I'm just, I'm awesome, great at driving, and that's pretty much true with everyone else. But when everyone is pretty bunched up and having to think about who's around me and braking zones and trying not to, obviously break the rules, I'm trying to be clean. It does add up to the stress in racing.
All right, well, we have one more race left in the season. Is at Interlagos. Are you looking forward to that round?
Yeah, I think the BMW will do decent. I think the only place it really suffers is the main straight. So I think it'll be decent, maybe have a better finish next round than here at Monza.
And one more before you go. Some of you drivers now, the championship is slowly coming down to a close. We know you're going to have to qualify for Season 3. How hard are you going to try and maybe practice or do what you can to get back into Tier A for next season?
As far as qualifying goes for next season, I think I should be pretty decent, have a good chance to come back. I think I will forego trying to get rid of traction control for now. I definitely need to get more consistency before I can take that off. So yeah, I'm gonna probably focus more on consistency than trying to be the fastest.
All right, well, thank you for joining us and good luck on the next race.
Great, thanks.
Dans303, have you fixed your technical issue yet?
Hello.
Hello, Dans.
How are we?
I'm doing pretty good. But you let me down. You made my prediction incorrect.
That's the only reason I came second, is to make you wrong for the first time this season.
Well, you had a very close race with PKMZ at the front here at Monza. You had a big mistake at one point in the latter half of the race. What was that mistake that we saw you make there that caused you maybe fall back that 5 seconds?
In the second stint, I got a penalty through the first chicane. I think it's 2 or 2.5 seconds. So I was catching up and then just made that mistake and then fell back to 5 seconds. And then I knew he'd underfueled, so I knew I was going to reel him in, and then I went wide out of Ascari, and then that was kind of the chance over. But yeah, PK was just super consistent and fast, so he deserved the win, I think.
Alright, well, we saw earlier on in the race You were very close to PK, but not always trying to make the pass. You stayed in this route, and we assumed you were trying to save fuel, but throughout many times we saw that gap increase to just over a second. What was that fuel saving stint like? Like, what were you really trying to accomplish, and what kind of threw a wrench into the plans?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to fuel save in the slipstream range, but I kept on falling out of it, and then the gap would be 1 to 1.5 seconds. So it's, yeah, I didn't mean to fall out that far back, but you know, PK is just super fast. So yeah, he did well to gap me each time I fell out.
Alright, well, we do have one more round from the calendar in Alago, so we know already that you're kind of looking forward to that race. But the one thing I want to ask you is, looking at that, the second place position in the championship right now, it's very close between you, CRubennnn, and PKMZ for that second place. What's going through your head? Who are you trying to be, and what kind of strategy are you going to try to employ in that last round of the championship to really inch ahead?
Yeah, I think Ruben's a bit further back if memory serves. But yeah, me and PK, I think with him gaining those 8 points today, I think it might be almost a straight shootout between. Oh yeah, Savewise just said it's 2 points between me and PK. So I think that means whoever finishes higher than the other. So it's a straight 1v1 battle for the second place, which is quite exciting. I think, you know, the cars suit Interlagos. So yeah, it should be fun.
Alright, and one last question. Coming down to the Constructors' Championship, I believe after doing the points, there's roughly 36 points separate you, the Aston Martins, from winning the Constructors' Championship ahead of Lemmy. However, Lemmy, Defiant, does not show up for the last race. It will be one car versus your two. Do you feel like that's going to come down to you or Chill Nom Nom? That's what's going to be the difference here?
I think Defiant will be back for next week. I think he just said he was missing today. But yeah, 36 points is a lot, and Lemmy's already told me that he's going to win Interlagos. So I think second in Constructors will be a good achievement, because when Lemmy says he's going to win it, then that usually happens.
All right, well,
congratulations, Lemmy, by the way, before he comes in. Well deserved.
Alright, well, thank you for joining us, and good luck in the next round. We'd love to have you back for Season 3.
Thanks, man.
Alright, finally, last but not least, your Season 2 champion and third place finisher here at Monza, Art Lemmy. Lemmy, are you here? Lemmy. Well, he's not here, ladies and gentlemen, but he is your He is your Season 2 champion.
And he's not even blooming here. What a numpty.
It's like the steak.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, there he is.
Lemmy. Hello, Lemmy.
This is going well, isn't it?
A man can win a championship but not get his mic working correctly.
Alright, I'm here.
Your Season 2 champion and third place finisher here at Monza, Art Lemmy. Congratulations on your Season 2 championship.
Thank you. Is that Kev? What the hell?
I'm having a standing ovation here. You can't see it, but I'm standing up here.
I appreciate that, man. That is legit. Thank you very much.
I'm sitting back down now.
Oh, well, I don't expect you to strain yourself for me, so yeah.
That's alright.
Alright, well, we saw you had a very eventful race out there today between the penalties that caused you to fall off the back of Kev and the start of the race, which again saw you fall off the back of Dance 303 and PKMZ. We know you like Monza a lot. What was throwing a wrench into your plans today?
Complacency. I didn't really have a reason to do much, so it's just lazy driving, isn't it, this race? But no, I mean, you know, what was it? I had to finish above 8th to clinch the championship today.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's a lack of motivation was definitely clear.
Well, again, going into the last round of the championship, the Constructors is actually quite close between you and Pegasus Racing. I believe. No, the Aston Martins. Your Pegasus Racing. Excuse me there.
Yeah.
But it's actually quite close. 36 points. Even though Dan said it was a lot, it's not too much, especially when you consider the pace difference between you and your teammate, and with how good Chill Nom Nom has come into his own in the latter half of the season. What kind of fight are you going to bring into Interlagos?
As Dan said, I told him we're going to win it in Lagos, so we shall see. But I think the biggest decider of who's going to win the Constructors' Championship will be Chill Nom Nom, because if he finishes in the top half, I don't know. I definitely see Nom Nom having a better race than my teammate Defiant, so I think it's going to be close, like you say. You just have to wait and see, I'm afraid.
Alright, well, you've already clinched your shot at joining us for Season 3. However, we do know, or at least I personally know, you've had some thoughts about, I don't know if you necessarily wanted to drive in Season 3 now that you've been branching out into some other sim games. Can we expect to see you back? And if you are coming back, what can we expect to see from you that season? Do we expect even stronger Lemmy? Do we expect maybe a different car to test your abilities? What are we looking for in the future?
Well, as soon as you mentioned Season 3, I'll take this moment to shout out Ronald Thomas, and I want him to enter Season 3. Because then for sure 100% I'll be there. Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, Dan's is really quick, PK's really quick, so it does look attractive to enter Season 3, regardless of whether Ronno enters or not. But I don't know. Look, we've still got one race to finish yet lapped. Let's do that first before we talk about Season 3.
Alright, well, congratulations. Enjoy your win today, and the trophy will be coming in the mail. But once again, congratulations to Season 2 champion, Ark Lemmy.
Thank you very much.
Alright, and that will conclude it for your driver interviews here today. Thank you for joining us. Congratulations once again to Ark Lemmy for clinching the Season 2 Drivers' Championship. We have one more round to go, as we mentioned throughout the broadcast here. It's Interlagos. There's still a close fight for second in the championship, and the Constructors is still wide open, so don't go anywhere. Join us next season. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow us here on Twitch when you want to catch the streams. Subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on Twitter at arc_PS4. Thank you all for joining us, and remember, ladies and gentlemen, keep racing.